Hi guys, and welcome to another review in the wrestling in the review of or the wrestling review. And oh sorry that us as your smack the your smackdown review for the 11th of April, which was Friday's episode. Um So basically, this was the second to last um, SmackDown before WrestleMania, and as a and as a penultimate show, oh, it really kind of felt disjointed um, in certain aspects of the show. At no point, did I feel like I wrote to the WrestleMania SmackDown until maybe the Jacob Fatu assault of Elwin in the end of the show. What how appropriate ancient night when Aaron he shot the or during to Ash at the castle you can. But anyway, guys, let's get into the review. We start off with I called this all and out Randy Orton and the angry basically and this was addressing the whole situation where Orton hits Aldous with the RKO last um um last week Orton Orton says he will wants a match at WrestleMania. It's his and it's going to be his 20th time competing at the event. All is the end of the whole eyes you've got ought to maintain a professionalism. You can't keep going around RK on authority figures, which is what Aldous is. Remember, he's a SmackDown general manager. Orton says, Orton says, Orton says as well, I don't care if you take off the business suit and put on the swing gear again and get under the and like that got a big massive pop because that's a actually want to see myself because I called this as I mentioned as I mentioned in the last to each murder review. I said he um I, I said he's very accomplished. He's, he's been in the national wrestling alliance. He's had a very long reign as champ here. He's also um he's also had a run as ENA heavyweight champion, etc. He was also a eh, on the independence circuit 20 years ago, and as well, he was also part of the guy reboot of Giladi, um, Giladi, because how we get no, because that's how we get noticed by TNA. But anyway, um, Orton, Orton basically, he said as well in the response, he's like, I'm on it. He had to know, oh, I was gonna hit you, but if another RKO, I paid to double on that fine. Um, all this, um, all this basically, he shoots down his match a twist and Orton's like a kid James who is old. She's a real iPhone life by now. He said a kid James isn't going to like what I'm gonna have to do in order to get my match at WrestleMania. Outcomes, outcomes so or sick, outcomes so or sick, or and he's not really he got a WrestleMania match either. He never had a match last year or at 13. And so yeah, anyway, he comes out and he says, Randy Ola here is crying about a match, stop whining basically, and Orton said, um, and Orton says, why don't you uh, to get in the ring? I've got a couple of years aggression to I've got a couple of years aggression to offload uh, um on somebody. It might as well be you and Tamatonga. He takes a piss out Thomas, hyena. Oh, it seems to be on a gag now because early in nights, on it a couple, early in the nights, done it a couple of times, and yeah, so now Randy's on it, so is Randy. You're going to destroy you like Jacob is going to destroy LA Knight. So, uh, so, so, oh, and, um, I get in the ring and they start beating upon her and they want to on Erwin Eights music hits. He here runs in to save um here runs in to save her and the Orton from a further beatdown. He says to Nick Aldis, I can make the match um mm, um Andy against those two rounds, and they thought they could mention Mama and um, I'm gonna walk out with my United States Championship at WrestleMania if everybody saying right, so that match was made, and that was the main of it. And interestingly enough, that wasn't announced on social media. You usually they're good at announcing SmackDown and Raw in events via social media. Um, I suppose that this is the second to last week before um before WrestleMania. Uh, and um yeah I suppose this is a way of deriving that point form. Uh, So so the first so the first match actually I as of it is already go on with my match for the women's tag team titles but eh, um, but and either of area are the first I out, and if you haven't checked out my or review, he had a pretty epic match for the women's intercontinental championship. Um, and that was a perfect match. In my opinion, it's probably one of the all-time great Roma matches. Um, and it's very rare that you get a good match like that on the Raw. And yeah, so basically these girls last the whole gauntlet. They beat every other tag team in here. They dispatched of the remaining members of the Pure Fusion Collective the and Rima, and it's obviously as well for obviously as well for rhythm, and it's Zoe Stark is obviously a hammering on in the arm of Ira um and eventually Ira was able to overcome overcome that roll up roll up Shayna Baszler, or who by the way was in street was because basically he are he them us at the airport, and she actually looked a lot more intimidating and interesting with this, so it, but for obvious reasons, she'll go back to traditional ring gear. J- just I was just the wee side to note that I kind of like. Zoe's arc kind of looked as though she was he kind of stepped out from 1995 as a member of Techno in 2000, if you remember that time. But yeah, so the Dispatcher PFC, um, um, out from the Italia and my acting reprising extra opponents, um, obviously as well, some of these teams are thrown together, and the Italian match scene, obviously, within the context of the show here, um, and obviously having some sort of communication breakdowns, uh, and uh, um and the context of the storyline, obviously they stuck up to the script here, unlike Charlotte and Tiffany Stratton last week. But yeah, so, so essentially, Maxine has improved a lot since she started to have a bit more she's obviously she's become more confident. Her super exes are a lot um her super exes are a lot more risk, and yeah, yeah, and essentially she has become a decent performer. Obviously she's been um obviously she's been training a lot as well, um to down at the PEC in Orlando, Florida. Uh, and you can really see it starting to pay off. Obviously, as well, she'll continue to build on and um, as she continues to have more matches, um, because the majority of the time she's still hanging out with Otis and Zal, and the Alpha Academy backstage and stuff, but she looked pretty good here. Obviously as well, she hits her own version of Otis's caterpillar move, which is actual which has a variation of Scotty to autism. Um, so essentially he hits the move on both of Valkyria and Bale. He obviously as well, um she she tries to put Bale in sharpshooter to impress Natalia. Bale manages reverse and escape in the room, acting up for the third out, and obviously they're building a feud. Obviously they're building to a feud to it, Chama Arjun will be on or basically, because I can't imagine this will be a pay-per-view feud, because I don't think Maxine is ready, even though she has improved but I don't think she's ready for a pay-per-view audience, because that's when WWE get a bigger audience. But I enjoyed her performance here, and obviously they are genuine, but in Maxine and Natalia sort of So I'd reasons the fact that the thing that'll be happening and as well. So Eva and me each I'm out as an so be Fab and me each come out as an extra opponent to dispatch them easily and an outcome and an outcome Caden Car or and a tan a chance again in um a very short one. But that obviously in them managed to a couple moves and chance and Carter did in and and he's a very good hag in the obviously the, the obviously on the longest or in NXT men's tag champs and history obviously as well they have more of a high flying style Katana Chance is also a previous contestant on American Ninja Warrior, so she's very athletic. Um, uh, but Aiden Carr is more a powerhouse and that team. Obviously as well they hit the cake stand for um um any shall moment here or or um and on to bail for it. Uka Katana's partner as to the um or the Osborne a head um hands and combinations or of um of card or as a good move but as a good move but obviously so yeah I prefer the after a party initial lectures of um lectures of 450 care osmotic combination but obviously they may I drop to that because the motor also machine guns you use a similar sort of with on your finish um but yeah um but yeah eventually either I catches or either catches uh, um Anna in the night and gets and gets the recount some good often in this section but obviously they could obviously they could have given them another minute out on the final outcome the final tag in the secret harvest which is um actress Alba Fire and Piper Evan the security of Chelsea Green and the S is the best This was the best portion of this match. Both teams got some good action here. Alba Fire especially got a good um showing. She was snapping off super X's etc. Obviously as well. Either Mo either is powerful and pipe on even etc. But on one of the powerful arms it looks as though pipe or smash our head off the ring. Hmm. Um, outside the ring. Um, so yeah, the whole Alba Fire is allowed hit a someone on any sure any sure on bail. Eh, um, and yeah, so that is also a combination move because Evan had the ring like a one arrow type move, and yeah, obviously as well, Albert Fire chose that obviously as well, Albert Fire chose this one ton, but as our finisher because our favourite wrestler of all time is Jeff Hardy. She said to the and Yenny British book camp the second season because as Jeremy Bursey was a contestant on the show. So yeah, isn't off bail. He hits some actual an elbow or jaw drop to get the pin in, and eventually it sets eventually it's up the match. Eventually it's up the match. Liv Morgan and of Morgan and they killed Rodriguez, who were at ringside by the way for the match. Um, I forgot um mm, mention of this way it sets up the match with for killed Rodriguez and Liv Morgan versus or either Valkyria and Bale. Eh, obviously there's a stare down between the two, uh, between the two sides of opponents, and I honestly see Morgan and Rodriguez re- in because honestly you see. eh, he challenging for Ira's IC IC belt in the future probably as a heel and um and obviously he is he can get another quality match out of it and Bale he's been baby face for a while and might be a time to is but on the whole I enjoyed parts of it I enjoyed parts of the gauntlet match, and yeah, some of the action was a bit short and easy, but as or it is, in the back, I um in the back you have obviously the EI where I basically um basically owning about the machine guns using using the exposed of unbuckled to get the um to get the victory last to eat for the SmackDown um cha- for the SmackDown Ag Championships. Obviously is El Champa said the he's become the victims of a conspiracy, obviously management or um obviously management and are trying to keep them away from the tag team championships as Champus had income Elton Prince and kept Bob Wilson from Pretty Ed he who who said essentially that that those two guys were really easy and that they should be in the line for a tag also and come machine guns to remind to the other who the it'll be the taken and it'll be then taken on the street for office for the SmackDown else on the SmackDown for night on the WrestleMania next week, and obviously I felt um the street profits and the machine guns are actually on the WrestleMania card, but obviously but obviously management have opted for the already us against the new uh, and yeah, so that's a bit of a big disappointment. Um, obviously, obviously, at the I felt to see the SmackDown tag belts get contested at WrestleMania because the SmackDown else seem a lot more focused on and it just seems a better match than the Raw tag team championship match, but that's just my opinion, and that's just the way it goes, unfortunately. Eh, in the back, and also we go out, sorry, and it's Damien Priest, he comes out for a showdown face with Jerome McIntyre, and as we heard at the top of the So it's going to be a sunset a street fight between Hurry East and b- between Eamon Reese and Jeremy McIntyre. Now, now I'm sure this will be a good. I'm sure that this will be a good match. And all that. I mean, I like both performers, etc. But this kind of feels a bit sort of last sort of, and it now obviously as well, they've tried is to put as much heat on the feud as possible. Obviously, as well, this it's back to last year's or WrestleMania here. Um, Jura McIntyre for all ends only for aiming pretty he's Ashton is money in the bank but pretty if case and beat Drew McIntyre with the help of CM Punk hurry he's to be would obviously be my McIntyre again at Ash at the Castle Scotland. I'm sure one of these I'll get through it if you without actually him without actually mentioning Clash at the Castle was Sean's probably sick of me mentioning it. Um, so yeah, obviously as well, pretty East beats my I can higher in Scotland and he's not forgotten. Um, and as well, um, and as well, he's eliminated my McIntyre from both Shields Royal Rumble and Elimination Chamber matches respectively, and but because Jeruma McIntyre is kind of in the role of the deleted heel, all whether as has made them sn and he's even said to Hurry he's and he's Romo after her attack after her attacking for her he goes that this has been a year in the making you always attack me from behind to which is true even though nobody is as the baby face and um and you and you think you can challenge um and you think you can challenge a guy with on eye to sit a street fight match at WrestleMania. Yeah, um, except uh, and then my McIntyre rips off the eye patch review is okay, and basically it's the 100% still road to you want people and you want if or ever you remember Mm. Eu, I'm only destroy outcomes outcomes hurry he tries to get somebody to be soon on my can I after my I can I had smashed his head up against the barricade but obviously the trainers are shut to take a race backstage. Hurry, he comes back out, tries him out on offense, but Giroud takes over and eventually spills out on the outside and Giroud hits the future shot DDE on the steel uh, end the end of segment and as and and he come back from the commercial break we have a Phoenix of his birth and birth has has a good amount of offense and then this match here he looked good, but so did the ref in Exobius or essentially he obviously gets some of his excellent offer and unlike the suicided hive that he hits um and his Mexican muscle bust or finish with the MO of this and it looks a cool move. He gets this leak out San Jose skipper or an angel also who are out who are accompanying Bert out at line side then he basically said sh- in Phoenix's hand. He basically was, and even Santos's like like my hand ref in its etc. And yeah so yeah that ends that segment. Obviously, here's one more. Really, Phoenix is going to face Angel Garza next. Angel Garza next week or something like that. And eventually, he'll eventually he'll face Santos-esque, but at some point. Um, maybe on the back of Ash car or something like that. On the in a paper of view because Santos himself is kind of is kind of is kind of lost in, in a shuffle at the moment. Um, But yeah, we'll have to see and obviously and Phoenix faces and obviously when Phoenix faces is a bar Phoenix will come out victorious and so in the back we see he murders Oxa and Arez or Oxan Arez been interviewed by Iron Sacks in and um and then he, and then he asks he asks Oxan what you what you hear in SmackDown or and or Oxan since Eva won't give me money he match for the um 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 on the NXT women's champion and chat. Uh, I'm here to ask. I'm here to ask all this or a match for or a finish that WWE in cha- championship because I want to face Charlotte at the at WrestleMania because I don't think if I don't think I can handle the pressure and she reminds everyone that she is a royal humble the in the royal humble match on her up and um that she can that maybe she can each still nothing and and st- basically he says basically he says what have you on actually earned a shot at the championship um she she says that the Hawks will of etc. The two of them have a back and forth, um, um, have a back and forth argument. All this steps out his office and he basically um, and then if says make the match and all is said also anchor about it going off because Joe Tessa all said at the start of the night that Charlotte and Anthony is Gerard are facing the civil and any action for the our actions will last to each um obviously as with elderly I've got a I growing tension between Charlotte and and so it's nice to see they've added into the storyline um uh um and then so that was pretty uh, and we'll go to um and we go to obviously we go to obviously a video of Shaman and Ian relationship. I think that I think that's actually taken from the 2013 CM Punk documentary um just before Punk left. It's called CM Punk Best in the World, and this was a uh, for this was a um from that, and it's obviously a brilliant it's obviously a brilliant documentary, but they could have maybe um had CM Punk on a on the show if all what r- murder or rather than reuse um rather than reuse footage that you've already seen. It's just an pick outcomes um outcomes Cody Rhodes um outcomes Cody Rhodes or his um or his or on the Johns others like the various iterations and incarnations of the WWE Championship on show. You've got the Bruno San Marino belt, as they like to call it. That's the belt that San Marino held for 8 years um, in the company. You've got obviously the Hogan 87 belt. You've got the and Eagle belt. You've got the big Eagle belt that was used during the Attitude Era that replaced the and Eagle. You have the undisputed championship that was the belt in 2002, and you have the spinner belt, and you have the belt that Cody Rhodes carries now. Basically, he puts the belt on the last remaining and he runs down the history of each incarnation of the belt, including the spinner belt that Ina introduced to the company. He said, he said, the Cena on and you were trying to find yourself. You were uh, you held to the spell for 10 years and put the company on your back. You were you were a real baby face, just like a just like I am now, and it's okay. And it's okay for fans to uh, 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 it's okay for fans to cheer for someone on else. And he said, your time is almost up, but like you've known for some time, just to like my time will be up on a um a have or or of evolving talent or like the amazing and they hear it probably of organs to the McIntyre like say extra and I'm the on the hold the uh, uh, I'm the one that holds the belt now. Or you easy here resume in yeah obviously as we go back the age to Elsie in a stir and get into the cherry in a room uh, as trying to get into the trainer's room as she wants and finding having out at ringside. I do a forbidden or spinal or um yeah presumable by Zell in a Vega because Zell in a basic doing Oxford going oh yeah want you little all sidekicks I feel see how good the album left out and um um so so obviously so obviously as well we have that my action obviously as well we have that my action X and I have to actually say this was absolutely a pointless. You have to talented female performers and you don't let them have the match that some people actually want to see. Um, obviously, is with L to start the match. You have to Elsie getting in road jury. Is at zone in at the zone in uh Chelsea um Chelsea so was the lines of the off the um over the um over the um over the ropes so in a hits the hits the war hits the hits the war hits the war and obviously Riv in Smama Axel in as head of the announced all she rules the back in her and starts arguing with good joke sit on it but and it but at the commentary um at the at the commentary if like she's like what have you done with Massey you could harvest harvest Iran and well like as this is going on or I ram that referee out and exceedingly if asked, and um, it's announced that Zil Ina Zil Ina gets the victory by out, but obviously championships won't change hands on account. Out, it was a very cheap. It was a very cheap stuff, and each it makes him for wrestle us and more. It's stupid. It makes so out to be a ex-worker, a ex-worker type I are um and yeah, so so she kinda he kinda so I out with the victory. It did absolutely nothing for either. Um, um, it, it did absolutely nothing for either or individual. Oh, a a very stupid a very stupid booking decision. Obviously, Chelsea is more over, she's more featured in segments, but Zelina Vega can't catch a barley ache, and she's good in the ring, and she's even open to following fans on X and on social and on other social media platforms. I've had a couple of her actions were Parsifal was she's very passionate about the wrestle and the history. She's almost to be in every company possible, and uh, um and I'm sad though he, she can't catch a barley and she's made to look foolish. Same if Chelsea isn't really isn't really going to do anything for her championship, but in either it's all rather pointless, and then it's match that I basically only want to see because both of them are very capable and the thing it's ridiculous and like the US women's title has been a bit of Eddie Rural. It's just a shite so far and I'm frustrated by it. Um, so so obviously, so obviously, as if on see in the back sun was uh, uh, um and was as well to birth. Oh, you know, ever got the job on or and your opponent or if in put in a great performance, that's a great wrestle or that's a great wrestler or in my I know obviously Angel Garza's with him and San Osizo like um on Angel. don't congratulate the victor, and Gerardi shows up the same. I think it has rap, but if he makes as a great, or if he makes as a great, S or as are you, and obviously Bert says is just out of my business. Is, so then so then the next segment we get um you get a pre a promo of Naomi and Jade Cargill, and Naomi basically begins her part of the promo by calling Jade Cargill a snake, and she basically he said to you, each of me and be an anchor so you can become a better performer and because now that be anchor knows the truth of the actually be anchor Bill he doesn't want anything to do me and wrestle me in yeah I'm going but I should put a seat to a washing it just honey who catch for is and I just actually want to say she is actually he's actually she's actually producing some great stuff as a um as a heel and yeah uh and yeah and yeah I enjoyed her part of it and obviously Jade Cargill's like Naomi you, you think you're a bit y- you, you think you're a big but you're get oh, it's fading but at WrestleMania um at WrestleMania you will find out that almost coming and that ends that segment. Some pretty good height of obviously and but in the promos you get a recap of the events that have led up in the match and yeah yeah it is or it is um so then the next segment is obvious so then the next segment is obviously the street eat profits were spawns in the most of a machine guns and then he basically he said to the machine guns don't care about the old tunes the celebrity appearances they wrestle us um and and he said to me, well, I can respect the street profits, but they're not in our level, and then they don't have these championships. In comes the Miz and Carmelo Hayes. The Miz actually, um, the Miz actually said to the um, the street profits and all the other tag and all the other tag combinations are making a mockery of the division and as a former nine time tag champion, that's also and that he wants uh, and he wants to come for that tag. I Oh, and coming, he's said, uh, um, and coming, he said, you the same, you on a small, well, you've got, uh, and, um, and then them, as, fa- and she's off, but I say, in because Yum as in one yum as in one year os him basically because it's expert income or his nickname and as his catch race for the was it don't actually know and again um, and again, and I see that, again, I see this as a backlash match on a in a pay-per-view, because obviously, coming one of them as I've just sort of, I've just sort of joined for once, he's, but yeah, um, but yeah, now we get to but yeah, now we get to finish Gerard versus Rock San Perez. Um, again, again back and forth here, the competitive match. I'm not as big on the Rock San Perez as I know a lot of people are. Think out the Mm, I, th- I think the two choices that he had the on an NXT in Aura Jade and of the Songer Oxan he chose he chose the wrong choice or Summer Rock Sands offense looks very so OP and he sees um and obviously I kind of felt bad for or I finished Latin this in this match because obviously I'll like um Latin because she's a more solid performer than other Oksana's. Um, obviously, um, um, obviously, gets away, and but I have seen some all as you knew, she would outcomes Charlotte fell here out from loud and yeah, thanks, and yeah, and no, the, and put a seeds to, uh, sh- again, and it just seems that Anthony doesn't seem to get any offense back in on Charlotte, on Charlotte Falk. Yeah, it just almost, it just almost seems like a real, almost, and it's not very fair, on Charlotte, to be honest. Um, on Rats, Harry, to be honest, because it's supposed to be it's supposed to be a feud for a major championship, but it's Charlotte for oh, years ego so big she can't allow anybody else to shine. So essentially, um, so essentially the spills over into the commentary booth. It Barrett says that's enough from what you Emil, what you in so speak and this is for Anish. Um yeah so yeah we get to the main event and it's a tag match of early in a and Randy Orton versus Soul and Hammer and on uh, obviously obviously during the match obviously solely during the match so oh and Orton kind of roll the backstage area of uh, the building and um it just leaves just leaves Erwin and Hammer on uh um just leaves Erwin and Hammer on uh um just leaves Erwin and Hammer on the finish. Obviously is where we have um obviously is where we have Erwin his BF his BF he and it and it gets it gets it gets the victory and obviously and obviously is Jacob Jacob Fat Urso owes up Jacob Fat Urso owes up gives Lily Knight the super kick and obviously he hits him and obviously hits him with a up rope and so and obviously obviously the show ends and it's obvious that they're only put the belt on Jacob but it should be um it should be a very interesting match but I can't see anything other than a Jacob Fat victory are trying to build the Jacob up as on or and yeah, so so come to an end this or unfurling I and hopefully he gets sort answered over or all because he needs some new own because he's faced everybody and yeah. So overall, guys, I'm gonna rate this episode probably a 6 out of 10. It's just an of average episode. You do get some good moments here and here he, here and here, but there's a few moments that annoy me. Um, and obviously is L. I'd rather see old as an Orton rather than War versus Orton and all of that. So yeah, that's okay. I know I already eat at a 5 this eat uh, a 6 or a 6. So that's kind of what I rated that a 6. Um, again, I just didn't really feel as though our heading wrestling in. Yeah, I don't know what you guys think in the comment section, but you guys let me know. Oh, like, share, and subscribe and comment. It helps the channel. And yeah, let me know your thoughts on this. And I'll be back on Tuesday for your or video. But yeah, guys, until then, and have a nice weekend. And yeah, well, let me know your thoughts